you want to come back? So when you're travelling around the place, I've learned this much to my kind of, it's been a problem sometimes when I haven't remembered these things. But you need a set of things, I think, that are fairly much kind of like things that you would take wherever you go, and you can't really live without. So you need some deodorant. If you ever turn up somewhere smelling a little bit, do you know what I mean? You need that. So you don't need to put it on, Adam, but just make sure you've got it with you. Some soap, get soap. Don't forget your toothbrush, if I can find it. So we've got a little toothbrush for you here, and of course the thing. Oh, and some toothpaste. And some, a plug, a travel plug. Useful sometimes. Adam, you can't forget your little toy. I know that you would want to. Very lovely. Very lovely teddy bear for you there. And of course, you can't forget your pants, can you? Do you know what I mean? Means that there are some things in our life, perhaps, that we feel that we can't live without. I don't know about you, but when I go out, I think this is more of a thing for blokes, but because we have pockets in our jeans, I can always feel whether my phone is in my pocket or not. And if my phone's not in my pocket, it feels really weird. It's like, I'm walking with a limp or something because there's no phone there. And sometimes there are some things that we really feel we can't live without. And faith sometimes challenges that. That sounds a bit scary, but the writer to the Hebrews talks about a character from the Old Testament called Abraham. And Abraham was the founder of the kind of Jewish faith. If there was one person you kind of think, this is the person who kind of started this all off. He is after Noah, but he heard God's voice to follow him, to leave his home, to leave a land where he had an inheritance. He was going to inherit his father's kind of cattle and flock and all of that kind of stuff, and actually become a wandering person without any kind of fixed place that he could call home. He gave up being welcomed by other people. It's quite nice, isn't it, when you kind of go home and you see your parents or you see your mates, maybe you've been away on holiday a little bit, and you come home and you feel that people are welcoming you back a little bit. Maybe when you go home from this weekend, you'll feel a little bit welcomed. Well, Abraham gave up that comfort of feeling welcomed anywhere, and everywhere he went, he knew people would treat him with suspicion. Seeing the brightness of God in this burning bush, so much so that he was fired up for the rest of his life to fight any kind of You've been blinded by the beauty of God, you've got the sustenance for the journey, you've got your strength for the journey, and you've got your staff in order to perform God's work. My clothes story reminded me of this woman of faith who is marked out. And she is called Rahab. She was an outsider, no one really liked her. She was a bit dubious, if you know what I mean. And she had lots of kind of relationships with different men, and it was all a bit, not very good. So not casting a spell at all. But this is Rahab. Now, why is she a hero of faith? Well, the thing is that Rahab, when the Israelites had left Egypt and all the rest of it, we've heard about that already, they were going into the Promised Land. They needed to get into Jericho, and Jericho was like this strong defense. And Rahab was in Jericho, being this kind of like not very nice person. And Joshua sends a couple of spies into Jericho and says, I need to know all about Jericho so that we can know when to attack. And Rahab puts them up. She hides them because they're not meant to be there. And she is potentially going to get in trouble herself for this. But she says to them, okay, come on, you seem to be doing the right thing. Why don't you come and sort of stay with me? I'll tell you about the city, and then you can go back to Joshua. So she does. Now, why the red thing? Well, because then what happens is Joshua and all of that come and attack Jericho. Joshua in the battle of Jericho, walking around the city, million signs, horns, doors come down. Okay, we all know the story. But Rahab is told to hang this red cord outside of her window so that it would mark her out as the person that had helped the Israelites, and that actually she would be saved. So So it's a little bit like when they painted the blood over the lintels of the houses, in the Passover. This red cord symbolises that she was someone who helped. Now, this is where the story gets really interesting. Because why is Rahab such a figure of significance? She's only done this one little thing. Abraham and Moses have chapters upon chapters upon chapters written about them. Why is Rahab considered to be someone so significant? Well, let us start with Martin Campbell. Is Martin got a little bit of the red corner back here? So somewhere around there. Okay, now this is taken from Matthew. Okay, you have to put up with my translation. My pronunciation a little bit. So let's start back there at the beginning of the chord and say we've got Abraham, who's the father of Isaac, who's the father of Jacob, and Jacob's the father of Judah and his brothers. Okay, so Judah's around there, something like that. Judah's the father of Perez and Zerah, and Perez is the father of Hezron. And Hezron's the father of Aram. The Bible is so interesting, isn't it? And Aram, the father of Aminadab, and Aminadab, the father of Nahshon, Nahshon, the father of Salmon. Salmon, the father of Boaz, maybe down here, by Rahab. Rahab's in this family tree. Odd. So Rahab is the father of Boaz. Boaz, the father of Obed. Obed, blah, blah, blah. Jesse, the father of King David, somewhere around here. Okay, so David, Solomon, Uriah, Rehoboam, Abijah, we'll carry on, round. We've got about, Becky, I reckon you're about Jeconiah, okay? So you're about Jeconiah, about another 14 generations back. Then they're deported to Babylon back there. Okay, that's her fault. Then after Babylon, we come all the way back. Father of Achim the father of Eliud, round here somewhere. Eliud the father of Eleazar, Eleazar the father of Mathan the father of Jacob. Jacob the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary, the mother of Jesus. Jesus, the rescuer, saving Rahab, the captive. Joined together by a family tree that includes all of those other people we looked at, all connected by this, maybe we might even say a bloodline of faith. And actually, Rahab, maybe the most scummy, unworthy, nasty, and sometimes downright faithless person. But let's all imagine ourselves into that position, because actually sometimes I'm the most scummy, faithless, annoying, gossipy, inactive person. But if I can belong in the same family tree as Jesus, if Jesus can be born to those of us who are maybe sometimes faithless, he will be the one that gives us the faith. So all of that stuff we've just talked about, all of the stuff about standing out from the crowd, all the stuff about giving up those things most close to you, all the stuff about maybe standing up for injustice, is made possible because Jesus is our companion in the journey. He's wearing the stuff that I should be wearing, but I decided not to because I thought it would be too embarrassing, so well done, but he also carries the load for us on our journey. So we have nothing to fear as we go on in this place. You guys can be people of faith.